What's up? What's up? My name is CJ Banks. I am the co-host of the Hype Podcast. HYPE stands for what?
Helping you proclaim excellence.
Oh.
Yes. And I am his co-host. My name is Sheana VanDyne. And this podcast is to inspire and empower. So we're going to have different series that are going to...
Wait. Inspire and empower what? Who?
You.
Keep it going.
The listeners, the audience. So our idea or our objective of this podcast is to make sure that we talk to not only experts, but also community members that otherwise are overlooked, to really dive into the hard questions and also tell us their story, their struggle, and then their success.
Yeah.
So hopefully you can take nuggets of that information, pull it into your life, and use it.
And when we say nuggets, we don't mean chicken nuggets.
No.
No?
That's not what I was going for. No.
Okay. Anyway, my name, like I said, is CJ Banks. And yes, I am excited about this podcast. I'm excited. This is our intro podcast.
Yes.
So it might be lame because it's just me and Sheana.
Yeah,
we don't have anybody super special here except me. But I think that we should talk about some of the ideas that we have and what we're going to do on the podcast. Besides, you already mentioned we're going to have some super great guests. We have a lot of guests lined up, a lot of important people that can share some of their experiences and share some of the ways that they've gotten to where they are. And then also some of the ways they feel they can help the individuals that are listening to the podcast.
Or community resources that they know about.
Absolutely.
So that's huge.
So we sat down and we decided, like, listen, we need to put together something that's going to help everybody in the community, anybody and everybody, get better at what they do or what they want to do, right?
Yeah. So diving into some of the series. So some of the ideas that we had was a parenting series, justice involved series. Sorry.
You just said Justin Bieber. We're gonna.
I wish. I want Justin Bieber to be here.
No, not a chance.
I wouldn't mind. Justice involved, political movement. What else do we have on the series?
LGBTQ plus.
Yes.
We'll have
someone talking about immigration,
entrepreneurship, integration, talk about workforce development, because that's what we do, right? You said politics? I did. Okay, politics. What else we're going to have? We want to know from you guys, what are some of the things you want us to talk about? Because, I'm really great. So you'll find out how great I am all throughout our podcast, because I love myself.
He will talk about himself. So give us that feedback. If we're talking about ourselves too much,
no, don't even tell me, because I'm not going to care. Yeah, I'm not going to. If Sheana talks too much about herself, let me know. If y'all want to hear like more of me and she's like drowning me out, let me know.
Everyone who knows me knows that's not true.
Okay. I'm just checking.
But that's actually a good segue. So CJ, why don't you do what you love and tell us a little bit about yourself?
A little bit?
Just a little bit. Because I only want this to be like a 30-minute intro type thing. Okay. So please keep it short.
All right. So I am, first and foremost, I am a father of 8 children. Some of them adopted, some of them biological, but they're all loved the same. I am a husband of 1.
Okay, that's good.
I gotta say,
you have one lovely wife. Yeah, beautiful.
I am a husband of 1, because you sometimes you have to specify that.
Yeah, I got you. Especially when you have 8 kids, right?
Absolutely. Exactly, and they're all ours. So I believe that that's the foundation of who I am. My wife is like super supportive. She kind of helps me go through the process that I have to go through every day, right? To get to be this great. It's not easy. So, I'm joking.
No, shout out to Tammy. She is a great woman.
Definitely. So, but then, I'm also an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. So I've owned my own business since I was 13. I've continuously grown in the entrepreneurship space. And, some businesses worked out, some businesses didn't, but also worked in the corporate industry for a while. In the music business, even now, but have been there since I was 13. And then also, the president and CEO of the Corp Foundation. KORP stands for Knowing Our Real Potential. And if you guys find out anything about us, is that we are really big on acronyms. So everything we say, we might even do a whole podcast just speaking in acronyms. Can you do that?
You could probably do that. I don't have those skills. I'll just be like, OPP. Yeah, you know what I mean?
See?
That's about it.
Okay. Anyway, let's talk about the Hype podcast.
Yes.
I mean, not the Hype. I'm sorry. We'll talk about the Corp Foundation real quick. I just want to say what it's about. The Corp Foundation was started by a great guy, myself, and what we did was we thought that there was a need to re-engage the community after the pandemic. So we created the Corp Foundation to help individuals get re-engaged by creating incentive-based opportunities. Okay. So we started with the recording studio, the Nuff Said exclusive recording studio. Really, really state-of-the-art recording studio, really nice. We really hooked it up and then offered that space to the community as an incentive. So if individuals are having trouble with attendance in school, we would offer them free certificates every time they reach a certain milestone, like go to school for a whole week without being absent, things like that. And then we'll talk a little bit more about the Corp Foundation, the PASS program, which I happen to be wearing a shirt today.
And what does PASS stand for?
Professional Advancement Through Hands-On Skills.
Yeah, love that one.
And that is really focused on workforce development and filling the gaps where workforce development has not been able to succeed in certain spaces in Buffalo, and we really want to help individuals succeed. And we'll talk about how that came about a little bit, later in maybe not today or maybe later today, but I don't want to take up all the time talking about me, but I really do, but I won't because it's not nice.
Yeah, it's not nice.
It's not nice, no. Right? And so, all right, Sheana. No, I'm joking.
All right, so I'm Sheana VanDyne, much like CJ. So my foundation is definitely being a mom and a wife.
Wait, also, I'm not a mom and a wife.
Well, my family is very important to me.
You said like CJ, I'm not a mom and a wife.
My family is very important to me.
Okay.
I'm also very spiritually grounded. So God is my anchor and his will is my will.
I forgot God. I don't mind. Can we add that?
Nope.
I'll Photoshop that in. That's
nope.
horrible. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not going to interrupt you no more. But that was... You're not. If I miss it, then you can't say it because it makes you look better than me.
But that's me. That's my intro.
No, but I meant to say that.
It's okay.
You threw me off.
Now, should I go to the intro again?
Okay, yeah, do it again.
Okay.
We're not cutting none of that out, but do it again.
Okay. So my name is Sheana VanDyne, and like I said, my foundation is my family and of course God. Also, professionally, my background is all over the place, but the two main, I would say, what's the word I'm looking for? My education is in business leadership and social work. I met CJ actually at a nonprofit. So I managed one of the grants for the nonprofit where he was the director.
Yep, I hired her.
He did. It took him,
first choice.
I was not his first choice, but that's okay because he would have regretted it, as we could see now. But I like to be a community advocate. I was born and raised in Buffalo. My family's from here. They came from Puerto Rico originally, and my dad actually came from the city, but his parents came from Puerto Rico, and we call Buffalo home. And
what part of the city is your dad from?
Queens.
Oh, Queens.
Yeah, Jamaica, Queens. So he was.
Jamaica.
Yeah, he was around that in the city during like the disco era.
Ah.
Yeah, he used to win all these trophies.
Telling his age. You're telling his age. I'm telling him. All right, go ahead.
He had me very old. That's why I'm so young. Okay. and then so everything that I always have done is to serve others. That's just my philosophy in life, is how can I make things better, not only for myself, but others. So my philosophy for my family, for my friends, for my community is to be of service. So when CJ wanted to do this podcast, he begged me pretty much, just so everyone knows. I wanted to really focus on community and just community resources, information. I don't really want this to be about us. I just want us to be the facilitators in making this the best podcast it could be for not just Buffalo, but we're going to be interviewing people that may have been from Buffalo, acquaintances, or people that we've met that we think are super interesting, and we hope that you find that way too. That's just a little bit about me.
You said you hope that you find that way or feel that way.
I don't even know.
She said, I hope you find that way too.
I hope you find, I hope you feel that way too.
Oh, feel.
I hope that you find that you feel that way too.
Oh, okay.
I got him.
This is going to be a fun podcast because
he likes to make fun of me and my communication skills need help.
No, they don't.
I do that, man.
No. She's super, super awesome. I'm super excited that she agreed to do the podcast. I didn't really have to. She was like, no, okay, I'll do it. It was not like a real hard push, but Sheana, I find is like one of those hidden gems where she kind of like plays the background, but can be awesome, but doesn't want people to know that she can be awesome.
Well, thank you.
So I think that, is that your phone ringing this time?
Oh, sorry.
Wow.
Sorry. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Not this time, because it's the first time we're doing it. But anyway, this is our intro. No, I was saying that Shane is great. So I think that I'm super excited for this to be an opportunity for people to learn about you and learn about the great things that you have to offer the communities that we try to serve, that we want to serve.
Thank you. Oh, and I forgot too, I'm also the Chief Operating Officer of the Corp Foundation.
Yes.
Which is a new and exciting endeavor. And I was on board as soon as CJ told me about the HYPE program. So that was helping youth proclaim excellence. And he talked about using the studio and what it was for, having, people come in here and redefine themselves through what they're good at rather than constantly feeling like they're, dwelling on their failures or told what they're doing wrong. Right. And just to be creative.
Yep.
I love that.
That's what it is. Like, I love hip hop. I love music. It's kind of hard. A lot of people think that because I'm in the professional space and the corporate space that it's kind of different because I'm so into hip hop. But man, hip hop is my passion. I love hip hop.
It shapes you as a culture.
Exactly. So, and I grew up in the Bronx, so the boogie down Bronx. And then I lived in Long Island. Then I moved to Binghamton. Then I moved back to Long Island. And then I moved down to Florida. And then I moved to the great space of Buffalo.
What was your favorite spot? Who had the best food?
The best food? Of course, New York City. Like
New York City or
yes.
or Buffalo,
Long Island,
New York?
No, New York City. Like the Bronx. And Long Island, all those places, like the pizza here is horrible.
Oh man!
And I know that I shouldn't say that. I know I just lost a lot of fans. I know I did, but I'm sorry. I like the flat pizza with the extra cheese
crust.
No, but I don't like all of that bread. It's not.
Where you get your pizza from?
Right now, I only like pizza from Joe's and Gino's, and we should get a sponsorship for even talking about this. But like Joe's Pizza, Joe's and Gino's or whatever.
Shout out to Franco's.
Yeah, no, I don't anything.
Don't like
I don't like the thick. In New York, we used to call it Sicilian. Was kind of the pizza that you guys eat here. It was the Sicilian slice. I don't know why, but that's what it's called. It was like a lot of bread and a little bit of cheese and a little bit of sauce. I like that big triangle where you fold it over and the grease drips off of it and all that cheese. That's what I really like. So my favorite, and like the Chinese food up here is horrible.
What?
Yeah, it's like New York City Chinese food is great. Gyros up here, not real gyros.
Maybe you got to try some things. What about the chicken wings?
Nah, like even the chicken wings here,
really?
Like the thing is that I don't know why Buffalo only hunts little chickens. Like the chicken wings are always little chicken wings like this, so they must only hunt
chicken wings.
Baby chickens. Where's your huge chicken wings?
We gotta go to we actually should get him on the podcast. The guy who owns this new chicken wing spot. We won't divulge his name until he agrees to get on the podcast.
Okay,
but
yeah.
And then he's got to bring the chicken wings.
No, the food here is not that bad. I just you know, when you grow up in one space,
Yeah.
like you get a sense of liking of that type of food. Some say like it's in the water. Some say it's in, you know, the types of seasoning they use or whatever the case may be. But the food in Buffalo is not as great. Not like you can't tell I still eat it. I still eat the food. So that I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that you asked the question. I think New York City, obviously, well, not obviously, but in my opinion, New York City has the best food. What about you? Well, obviously Buffalo.
Well, I live in Florida.
Oh, okay.
I hated their pizza.
Yeah,
Florida pizza was not good.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously their Spanish food was on point. Like all different. They had Dominican food, Puerto Rican food, Cuban food. Very, very good.
Oh, Spanish food.
You know,
I could eat like a huge bowl.
I have watched you eat a whole thing of rice at Niagara Cafe. So.
Yeah. Oh, you just dropping. You just giving all these sponsorships out. We got to get sponsorships. Say these names.
All right.
But,
all right. So why don't you? I think we have enough time. Why don't we talk a little bit about the Corp Foundation and what we're doing, what we're up to?
So the Corp Foundation again stands for Knowing Our Real Potential, right? And I'll tell you a little background on how we got the name. My brother, his name was Corp. That was his name, Korp. That was his street name. We grew up in the Bronx, and you know, he had some challenges in his life. But then towards the end of his life, he and I just spoiler alert, right? But towards the end of his life, he got himself together, and he was doing great. He was a pastor. He was you know, a manager at a home renovation store. I won't say the name unless they give us a sponsorship.
Oh my god.
And he lived in Arizona for a while, and then he came here to live with me, and was really into the music and all of that, but he also was into helping other people. Like he also, you know, was into tech, right? Technology. So but unfortunately, Memorial Day, it's crazy because Memorial Day is a thing, right? So Memorial Day, he passed away. And it was about 7 years ago. And, or maybe 6 years, 6 years ago. So one day when I decided, you know, that I wanted to do the nonprofit recording studio, I didn't have a name yet. I was like, man, I really want to do this. I started building the studio, but then I started calling around to friends and family saying, hey, I need a name. I didn't tell you this, but I did even like a little thing on Facebook for people to give me names, you know, and they were, you know, I got some names that I thought was pretty cool. But then I asked my son, who was 25 at the time, and I was like, hey, I'm on my way to New York, but think about this. I need a name. And he was a rapper, and he kind of was, you know, he's very creative. He thinks creatively. So I was like, yeah, I need a name. And then he was like, all right, I'll think about it. And then he called me back on like maybe half an hour later and was like, yo, what about Corp? And I was like, oh, that's dope. And he was like, yeah, it stands for knowing our real potential. And I was like, yo, I love it. That's it.
It's perfect. Yeah.
It gave me chills.
And when you told me that story, I was just, so when previously when CJ and I were working at the other non-for-profit together, he introduced me to, you know, he told me about this non-for-profit he was, you know, dabbling in, but it was difficult because obviously, you know, we had our full-time jobs, and this great tech startup came to Buffalo named Bitwise. And Bitwise Industries was a tech ecosystem. They were attempting to create this, I would say, conglomerate of tech services, workforce development, and being an employer. And if you know the background of it, unfortunately, CJ, not unfortunately, but CJ took me along. So it was him and I.
Let me fill them in on real, like on Bitwise. Bitwise was a tech services company. So it did websites, you know, mobile apps, you know, custom software development, platform support,
CRMs,
platform support like Salesforce and DocuSign. So that's what they were. But and it was a for-profit company.
Yeah, but they had a social impact mission, right?
Social impact mission, and the social impact mission was to uplift individuals from the marginalized community, the overlooked talent, right? The untapped talent, whatever, however you want to put it, and give them an opportunity to get into tech fields. And I thought that the mission was super dope. Like when I heard about it, and I was working for another organization at the time, when I heard about the mission, I was like, yo, this is where I need to be at, you know, because I love tech. I'm in tech. I love Salesforce. I'm into Salesforce. And I was, you know, kind of at a different stage in my life where I felt like, you know, where I was at where I wanted to be. You know what I mean?
And also with the social impact mission, it was uplifting individuals to also make a sustainable salary.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
you know, as a social worker, and, you know, same thing with CJ being in the social services field, we know how important that is, because families not only need their basic necessities, but they're leveled up completely when they can make a very good salary, and it just changes for generations. So that's one of the things that really sold me for, you know, with Bitwise, like coming to Buffalo and offering families not only, you know, tech education, but jobs that would be able to impact them for like generations to come. Yep.
And so Shayna and I were working at one organization, and when I got offered the job at Bitwise as kind of the CEO of this city, like I was in charge of the city here, of Buffalo area, and I took the job, and I thought it was a great opportunity. You know, it was another chapter in my life that I can use to, you know, another opportunity to use the skills that I have and the opportunity they were offering to help our community. So, you know, those that know me well know that I've done a lot of different things to better the community. So, you know, as far as like I worked at the Buffalo Urban League as a vice president there, and prior to that, a youth facilitator. I've worked in, you know, at the Boys and Girls Club. I've worked in a lot of different organizations helping youth, and then also parenting skills was where we were at with Epic, and we taught. That's another great organization that has. That sees things in a different way than, you know, they have a different opportunity to help communities, right? Rather than just the traditional help. It's like helping parenting is probably one of the most important skills that you can have. You know, is be a good parent. So I think that was a great organization, and I was actually on the board of Epic before I went to there. So anyway, they offered me a position at Bitwise. I took the position, and one of the things I realized was that it was a lot of work to be done in here in Buffalo, and I know I needed some support, you know, and I had a team, but I needed some more support. So I called Shayna, and I was like, "Hey, what do you think about coming over to Bitwise with me?" And you could tell that from your perspective.
Yeah, and so I was. Like I said, I was at Epic, so and I still facilitate for Epic. I definitely agree with what CJ said. I think parenting support and education is huge. So there's a couple programs that I'm still involved with there. But when he told me about Bitwise and that mission, I thought it married really well, like my skill set of, you know, my corporate background and the social work with the social impact mission. So, you know, told me the salary and the benefits, and I was definitely on board. And it was being his executive assistant with the hopes, of course, you know, being able to expose myself to, you know, getting back to like an upper level management type director position. And we went in and did the work. I think CJ and I he was able to really foster an environment of catering and tailoring the Bitwise mission to what Buffalo needed. And
yeah, we had a team. Like we had a good team. Of individuals that were dedicated, that still are dedicated to the community. For sure. I won't say their names because didn't get permission, right? But we had a good team, and we tried, you know, our best to move the mission forward here in Buffalo. But then Memorial Day. Yeah,
there's another Memorial Day.
Yep. It was Memorial Day of 2022. Or 23. No. Yeah, I'm thinking.
This year. I know, it's been going so fast.
So Memorial Day of 2023. But it was late.
What time was it, CJ?
It was like midnight.
Yeah, I wasn't even up.
I got an email saying, hey, we got a virtual call, a virtual meeting tonight This was Memorial Day. It's not mandatory, but very important. So I was like, well, not mandatory, but very important means it's mandatory to me. So I jumped on the call, and the CEOs, 2 CEOs got on. There was 4 CEOs, but 2 of them got on the call and said, this is the hardest call that we've ever had to make. The board has decided to furlough 100% of its employees. So
100%.
100% everybody.
So
that was like, at first I was kind of like, oh, what does furlough mean? You know what I'm saying? I knew what it meant, but I just kind of was like, wait, what does that mean? Like, how am wait, that doesn't make sense. Like, you can't just stop everybody from working, right?
100% production, right?
Yeah, so I'm like, maybe this is a different meaning. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
And so did you Google furloughed?
No, I just, by the end of the call, I was like, no, this is what it means. Yeah. So they, you know, and the worst part about it is that, like, you know, by the way, your last paycheck is not going to clear. So I was like, what? Like, I'm being furloughed? And they said that it was a temporary furlough. So we were you know, leading us to believe that we were going to get back to work shortly. Yeah. So we didn't know how long it is be, but, you know, this is temporary. So they just need to stop all outgoing money, right? So it made sense. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Then the next day, though, Shane and I was like, you know, I was like, you know what? I was thinking, like, you know, I'm not putting my my life on the line for an organization that is just going to furlough me, like, or, you know, unemploy me, you know, so easily, you know what I mean? Without notice at all.
Yeah, like, literally overnight.
No notice. So we were like, I was like, Sheana, what do you want to do? Sheana was like, let's do it. Let's do the Corp Foundation. It made sense, right? Because the work we were doing, the Corp Foundation's mission was at that time to engage individuals, to re-engage individuals in the community through arts, employment, and education. Yeah. So it made sense. So, you know, I got my board together and we kind of had a conversation. And then Shana came up to the office and Shana was like, yo, let's do it. Yeah. I believe in you and I believe in what we're doing. And obviously we got job offers, right? After that happened, especially 2 weeks later when we got the termination letters.
Yeah, we were considering, right? But my thought process was, you know, when I was always telling people, you know, it was like, oh yeah, that happens. And, you know, we said that, you know, Bitwise is a tech job, you know, tech services job. So it was, you know, tech lays off all the time. It should be expected. And then you just pull yourself up by your bootstraps and go find another job. It was difficult for me. I don't know how I know that you shared similar thoughts but the social impact mission was so big to let go, because not only would I be disappointing the individuals that we already told about the services, because we were signing people up, we were getting started, but the potential that it had, I just felt like there was just something, and, you know, like I said, I'm very led by God. There was just something, and I just couldn't let go about it. And, you know, we've been on this process, and same thing. Every time I just want to be like, CJ, I don't know. You know, I get kind of that like discouragement. We get a phone call, or we get, you know, that little keep on going. So,
well, look, the thing is that if we felt like we should stop, or that it wasn't worth it because Bitwise closed, then that means that we really weren't part of it in the first place. Right. We really didn't believe in the first place. If we really believed that this was something that was good for our community and good for, you know, the individuals, the marginalized community, then it's something that we need to do no matter what, right? And that's the way I felt. And the way I felt was like, there's no way that I can stop until I see that this city is not segregated and not, you know, they're not individuals that are way less and that have way less and individuals that have way more. Like, we need to figure out how to, you know, close the gap.
Be that bridge, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we decided to just move forth in what we were doing. And I think that it was the best decision that I've made in my entire life, because I've made many decisions to chase money, right? Yeah. And, you know, go to jobs because they were great. Like, don't get me wrong, Bitwise was a great salary, great benefits, you know, great opportunity. But there's nothing like making sure that what you truly believe in, you're in control of,
Oh,
right?
for sure.
And that's the key. Like, I love the fact that I can wake up every morning and I have not felt like I worked a day in my life since I have not felt like I worked a day since that day that we decided to start corp. It's like every day I come here and I just feel like working.
Yeah, we grind
because it just makes sense. Now, do I get tired? Yeah, I get tired. Does Shana get on my nerves? Shana gets on my nerves. But I still feel like I could.
I do not get on your nerves.
Just joking. But yeah, so we did that. We started the Corp Foundation. The Corp Foundation started with just the Hype program, similar to the Hype podcast, but instead of Hype standing for helping you proclaim excellence, it's helping youth proclaim excellence, and it really works with high school and college kids.
Yeah,
that's what the the Hype program does. But then we also have the PATHS program, like I said, professional advancement through hands-on skills, and that's really focused on collaboration, a collaborative opportunity to work with every organization in the city to help individuals succeed in their career path, their choice, right? So
what we did was we rolled in that social impact mission that Bitwise had, and we tweaked it to fit our city where it was appropriate, and we went ahead and created this PATHS program. So what it does is it sets, just like it says, it sets a path for an individual to go through a seamless approach through the workforce ecosystem that Buffalo already has. Because something that we found out while we were with Bitwise is the services that even they were providing were very redundant, right? And the engagement also was being lost because there wasn't enough engagement and outreach already done by the workforce that was here in Buffalo. They were already struggling with it. So to bring, I don't know how you felt, but to bring another organization and re-explain and have the same services, it got a lot.
Yeah. So that's the thing that I say all the time, that there's Bitwise came in. So Bitwise came into the city of Buffalo to try to do something that they did in Fresno. It made sense, right? Because the truth is that they're struggling individuals and discriminative practices and
all that systematic
stuff in every city. But the one thing that Buffalo has a great desire to help individuals. It really does. And I mean, per capita, we have the most amount of nonprofits in the nation. We have tons of workforce development programs. Really, 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 really great workforce development programs.
Yeah.
So
what makes ours different, CJ?
I'll say some of them. Goodwill, Good Skills, BCAT, Mission Ignite, and this is all tech stuff I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, tech focus.
Who else am I forgetting? Like, I shouldn't say. Trocare. Like, there are a lot of. Villa Maria does some, in the space of education. It's just EOC, Buffalo Employment Training Center, all these organizations. Buffalo Urban League. So there's so many organizations that do the. They have some workforce type of development, and not just tech, but even workforce development, right? Program. Bitwise came here and they were also going to do workforce development, right?
Yeah.
The challenge with that is that because it's like walking into a restaurant and seeing a million items on the menu. It's hard to choose,
and
right?
What do I pick?
So individuals are like, I can go here, I can go here, I can go here, I can go here. Forget it, I'm not going
nowhere.
Everybody's trying to do something and nothing's working, So one of the things that I was trying to get across to Bitwise while I was there and towards the latter end, it seemed to start shifting in that way, but it was too little too late, was that we need to work in a more of a collaborative space, right? So let's figure out how we can leverage all of the work that's being done. And Bitwise always talk about being good neighbors and being partners and things like that. But how do we don't need to create basic computer training because basic computer training is already here.
Oh yeah, tons of curriculums are already out, right?
We don't need to teach like even like the opportunities with Salesforce and all of that stuff. Like there are so many organizations here. All we needed to do was be the support. So the difference between the Core Foundation and what the Bitwise path was, or the Bitwise focus was, is that we're that gap filler, right? We're the organization that's going to find out what other organizations need, and we're going to support them in that space, especially when it comes to case management and dealing with the individual.
So we're also going to support the individuals, not just the organization.
Right. So that's the second. So we're the organizational support. But then we also, in that support, we're supporting the and most importantly, we're supporting the individuals. So we find the individuals, we do the outreach, and we do the catalytic events and the engagements that in the city, and we reach the people that everybody's having a hard time reaching. We find them and we kind of assess them, figure out where they want to be in their career, or do they want a career? Do they need an opportunity, a step up, or a step stool to get to an equitable, space? And then we
remove
place them we place them in a program, right, in a pre-apprenticeship program, and during that time they're just we're working with them through our case management arm or department, right, is working with them to speaking with them 3 times a week and making sure that they're removing any barriers, right, like if it's childcare, if it's transportation, if it's food insecurity, if it's whatever barriers they have. We are also collaborating with every other agency in the community that's helping individuals get over specific barriers. So then we place them in those programs, right? So we're connecting them to all of these resources while tracking them and placing them into a path to success for a job placement, right? So we take them into that apprenticeship. After they go into that pre-apprenticeship, then they go into the apprenticeship. During our apprenticeship time, we're still following them, we're still tracking them, but we're also securing their apprenticeship opportunities for them. So we're meeting with organizations and placing individuals into apprenticeship, opportunities where they get paid.
I was going to say our goal is a paid apprenticeship.
Right. I forgot somebody said it. What other kind of apprenticeship is there, right? Now, is it an apprenticeship or is it an internship? Right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So some people call that program apprenticeship, but they don't think that that individuals need to get paid. Like, you need to get paid, because how do you learn or work for somebody for 40 hours a week and not get paid? I mean, to be honest with you, that's why I stopped my I finished my graduate program for psychology, mental health counseling, and then it got time for me to do the my 2,000 hours of supervision and social, and everybody I went to, it was like non-paid. So I was like, I can't do 2,000 hours. I got a family to take care of.
So, what's the incentive? Or how are you going to live?
Exactly. So I just was like, all right, I got the knowledge, but getting into, to get my license, I had to do the 2,000 hours. There's no way I can do that. So I think that getting them, us focusing on organizations that can provide, and we have some great opportunity for apprenticeships.
We really do.
For the community. It's amazing that other people don't even know about these, but I'm kind of glad, because it gives us a space that we fit, right? So the individuals get into our apprenticeship program, and then after our apprenticeship program, we don't stop there. We follow them through employment. So we help them find a job. We have jobs lined up, and if we don't find one, we don't have one available for them, we'll work with them to get one. So we're not going to stop until they get a job. And then after that, we follow them up to 2 years through employment to make sure they're still removing barriers. One of the things that we find, which is a segue into our next arm, right, at the Core Foundation, is that people go into work, but they don't fit. They don't feel like they fit. They don't feel like they belong.
That belonging, yeah.
Right. So we work with organizations to train the organizations and the staff in organizations on DEI and B, right? And that's diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And we work with those individuals, those organizations, to make sure that when you do, because there are a lot of organizations in Buffalo that are really interested in hiring diverse people, right? Really having, not being all white or all male or all women, they want diversity, right?
Yeah.
By the way, diversity does not mean black and brown and women and minorities. Diversity means all races. Like we want to have companies that have an opportunity for everybody to work together, right? So if your organization needs more black people in it because you want to be a diverse organization, mind you, hiring black people benefits you just as much as it benefits the black person, because now you have people that have this thought, what is it, diversity of thought, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where they can help you better your company to support you doing better work for the people that they belong, the race that they belong to, right?
Just other communities.
Exactly. So we work with them. We have some great diversity trainers, people that have trained all over the nation. They'll come in and they'll do the training for whether it's a day event or 3 days event or whatever. We'll have individuals come in and help organizations better their environment, so that people that do come in, because if you hire somebody that's black and you don't have a lot of black people there and you haven't dealt with a lot of black people, then you're going to have some uncomfortable situations that you don't even know you're going to have until they get there. You know what I mean?
So it's putting all that training into practice and making sure we foster that so that person feels comfortable, and so does the organization. And going back to the individual, like those 2 years too, is it Biggie who said more money, more problems?
More money, more problems. Yes.
That may be a barrier. So, you're making
I don't even know why I just said that. I was like, more money, more problems.
You said it like kind of like an accent, a weird accent. I wasn't going to say that.
I don't even know. That was weird. I'm just
going to move on.
I don't even know what that came from, but yeah, I guess.
It was like a Bob Marley impression of Biggie. Anyway, so we'll do like financial advisement if they need it, or how to get your credit up, because more money leads to different, or I shouldn't say more problems, I should say different problems.
No, more problems, because
different problems,
because sometimes you still have the old problems. So then different problems mean like you're shifting from that problem to this. It really is more problems. Like you're really gonna have more money, more problems.
But it also does alleviate some things too. It alleviates.
That's going to be my tagline. More money, more problems.
Oh gosh, I gave you more annoying things to do.
Sorry about that.
But you did a great job explaining the Corp Foundation. I'm glad, because you had a lot of practice, many meetings.
Oh my gosh, it's like I feel like I've had more meetings than I had when I was with Bitwise.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of
fun meetings. Like I am truly excited. Every day I meet another organization or company that is doing something great in Buffalo. It is so amazing. That's the one thing that I would say that Bitwise gave me. And I want to tell
everyone about it too. And that's why I know that's why you thought of this podcast, because you're like, why don't people know about this? And it's not even like if they need it, maybe their sister needs it, or maybe someone they're working with in their community. You were like, we need to make sure. And it's funny because whenever we had a meeting, it's like, we got to get you on the podcast. And the podcast didn't even exist yet. I'm just looking at CJ like, all right.
This was while we were at Bitwise.
I remember. And
it was like, I was thinking like, and that's what I was going to say, the thing about being a Bitwise that helped me also was that it got me at the table, right? It got me at the table. I don't know what it was. Like I'm still the same great person that I was before I was with Bitwise, but for some reason when I was at Bitwise, I was like this super great person. Everybody wanted to talk to me. Everybody wanted to meet me. Everybody's like, oh, you're so awesome, whatever. Like I was that same person the day before I went to Bitwise.
It's that tech title. They thought you were like the next Mark Zuckerberg.
Exactly.
They were like CJ.
It was crazy. But
Zuckerberg.
You know what? I welcomed the opportunity because it got me in front of people.
Yeah.
It got me in front of people that I was able to, talk to, learn from them, and they were able to learn from me. And I think that was the opportunity that God put me in for that short period of time.
Oh, for sure.
Because he was like, we're going to set you up for the Corp Foundation to have all of these people to support you. And right now we have such a wide array of individuals that support what we're doing. We have some great opportunities for funding, which should be coming into, play very shortly, and we'll be releasing some things out on LinkedIn. By the way, follow our LinkedIn, Corp Foundation.
Corp Foundation, KORP.
KORP, Knowing Our Real Potential is what it stands for, so remember KORP. Because even when I tell people KORP, they type CORP.
I know, it's just like a natural thing. But yeah, not only that, we'll have some information coming out about the podcast. We'll have so our next podcast again is going to have a guest. We'll start a series. If you are interested in sponsoring, please contact us. My email will be in all the links. Will also be, so where could they find the podcast? Where are they going to watch it? Where are they going to listen to it?
YouTube, definitely YouTube. So we'll have our YouTube. What's it? More money for problems. I don't know. I can't. Yeah. So YouTube. We're gonna have it on Spotify, which will be just the audio version of it, right? Okay. And then we also will have our website, which will have the Hype Podcast website, which I'm still building. So that should be done shortly, and we'll be able to have all of the episodes on there, so you don't have to go searching on YouTube or whatever. Okay. It'll be on the website. We're going to have some giveaways. Did we say we're going to have some giveaways? Did we tell them that?
No.
Oh, some giveaways, some Hype Podcast T-shirts that I'm getting ready to print. I do own a screen printing company also, so by the way, if you need any shirts or anything done, make sure you holler at your boy.
He's your guy.
Yeah, I'm your guy for a lot of things.
I know, I need to get a business up, be like, if you need any, I don't got nothing.
Yeah, you do social media.
Yeah. For us.
But you're good at it, so that's something you can do. And what else can you do? Let's talk about what else you can do. I think that's a good idea. I think this is helping you. I want to help you proclaim excellence. What is it that you like to do?
What I like to do? See, the things that I like to do doesn't necessarily mean that I'm good at it. Because I like to sing. But I don't think anyone's going to hire me to sing at their wedding, bar mitzvah.
Have I heard you sing something?
No. Okay, so this is the conclusion of our podcast.
Y'all out there, if y'all want Shana to sing something, send us a message, say, Shana sing. Shana sing.
No.
You're going to have to sing by the end of our first series. You're going to have to sing.
If we can get up to 100,000 followers and listeners, I will sing.
100,000?
100,000.
That's like, I don't know. I think that you're setting the bar.
All right, 500.
500 followers.
Yep, and listeners.
500 followers and listeners.
I'll sing.
Okay. Deal.
500
followers. No auto-tune. Just straight up sing.
I mean, where would I get auto-tune? Probably don't even know where these people get the auto-tune. Is it built in something?
Oh, you're in the studio.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no auto-tune. I won't do auto-tune.
All right, so we're gonna that's the deal. You guys heard it first. So get us to 500 so we can get Shana to sing. And if we get not
an incentive.
If we get to 1,000 followers, I'll rap.
But you actually can. Okay.
Yeah, I'll rap. And then no, I put it this way. 1,000 followers, I rap. 500 you sing.
Okay.
10,000 followers, and we'll actually record a song. Shana and I will record a song and release it.
And it has to be all in acronyms.
Not all. That's kind of hard, but we'll put some acronyms in there. But we'll record a song called the Hype.
We'll get back to the name. We'll think about it.
Maybe remember, don't believe the hype. We're gonna do believe the hype, not don't, but just believe the hype.
I don't think I remember that song.
Public Enemy, don't believe the hype.
Oh yeah. It was just the way you were singing it.
More money, more problems.
All right, thank you so much for listening and tuning in to the first episode. Man. We love you, we appreciate you, and we cannot wait to hear the next one.
Yes. All right, last thing I said.
Okay.
Can I say?
Yes.
Send us, when you hear this, right, please send us some topics, some ideas, some series, because we want to do things in series. So we're going to have a parenting series, and then we're going to move on to a, entrepreneurship series and like that. So if you have some ideas that you need some motivation, some help, some, people that know more than I know, which there are tons of people out there, please let us know so we can start reaching out and finding those individuals. Last thing, if you have any questions, because we're going to do a segment called Ask Us a Question or what's the height? We haven't figured out the name of that, but send us any questions and we'll read it on the air. If you want to include your name, we'll read your name and we'll read it on the air and answer the question.
Yep. And it's going to be one of our segments.
And let's tell them about it. Wait, can we tell them about some of the other segments? I think it's going to be dope. Like the AI segment. Where we're going to
that's the one that we're going to do Ask AI.
Yeah, it's going to be Shayna and I and Ask AI or something like that. We haven't come up with a name yet. But it's going to be like Shayna and I and AI.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay. And we're going to ask ChatGPT a question that you give us, but what we're going to do is we're going to answer your question first, and then we're going to ask ChatGPT and see if we got it right or see what's the difference.
Yeah, but it's going to be opinionated based questions. So it's all subjective.
Don't give us any math questions.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Like, this is subjective questions you have that are theoretical, hypothetical, and then we'll answer it and see if ChatGPT can give more of a human answer.
Yeah, like who has the best pizza? Buffalo or
exactly.
New York City?
I know it's going to say, as an AI, I can't eat pizza. But New York City has the best pizza.
It's not going to say that.
All right, y'all. We appreciate you. Thank you. Shout out to everybody out there that supports the Corp Foundation.
Yes.
Supports your boys, CJ Banks. Supports Shayna, your girl Shayna, and more money, no problem.
All right. Bye, y'all. Thank you.
All right.